I found out that the AFC is 11-3 against the NFC this season. And I was wondering what you guys think and if the AFC is better than the NFC, or is the NFC in terms of conference a little overrated, or will the NFC just catch up? Uh, the games I looked at were, there were some bad teams involved, like Cleveland beating Minnesota yesterday. But then there were some good teams involved as well, that included the Colts beating the Niners yesterday. And also to add to that total, the Chiefs have two of the wins against the NFC. They're 3-0. And also the Bears have two of those wins against the AFC. They're proving to be pretty formidable. But I think the biggest thing to look at here, and it's only been 14 games they've played. It's early in the year. But the thing is, I think that NFC was a little overrated. I think that people always look at quarterbacks. The quarterback play is the biggest thing ever. But what they fail to realize sometimes is that there are other aspects of the football that do matter, that determine games. For example, you have teams like the Kansas City Chiefs. While they don't have as good a quarterback as Dallas does with Tony Romo, their defense is a lot better, meaning they won that game. Also, another trend I noticed with this is that a lot of the AFC teams were at home, which in the NFL and in football in general is a huge advantage. If you look at, if you ever bet, or if you go into like confidence pools or something like that, the home teams usually win, especially in the NFL. It's just so hard to win on the road. But let's forget about that. Let's kind of compare the two conferences as a whole this year in terms of the better teams at the top. I mean, you have teams like San Francisco in the NFC that were supposed to be very good that kind of aren't. They're 1-2. They're really struggling. The Colts kind of put it to them yesterday. But then you have surprise teams in the NFC like the Chicago Bears, who they start off very strong. Mark Trestman has done a really good job with that team. You got there, but I think the AFC is more surprise teams. People thought there's only a couple good teams, a couple only good Super Bowl contenders. But there have been a few teams that have actually played pretty good to start the year. You got like the Miami Dolphins, who beat Atlanta yesterday. Atlanta, a Super Bowl favorite for a lot of people in the NFC, lost to them. Of course, it wasn't Miami, but you have the Falcons, losing their Miami. Big loss for them. Miami, great way to start the year. 3-0, kind of surprising everyone, but no one thought of anything of them. Then you got other teams in the AFC like Chiefs. Like I said, no one thought anything of them. And then you have the Bengals, who had a very surprising, I wouldn't say surprising win when they beat the Packers yesterday, but a really good comeback win. I think that was big for them as well. In terms of solidifying, the AFC is better than what people think. People thought they were kind of a lot lesser than the NFC. And you could another reason you could kind of contribute that to is you can contribute that to like media coverage. The NFC gets so much media coverage, especially the NFC East, and through the first 3 weeks of the NFL season, we could see that the NFC East is pretty much garbage. The Cowboys look like they're the only good team out of there. I mean, the Eagles look formidable. Washington is a mess. The Giants are absolutely playing dreadful. NFC East, bleh. They get so much media coverage, but gosh, they are pretty overrated. NFC, and that's what you got to look at too, is like divisions. Everyone thought, NFC East is going to be very, very good. Not the case. And then you got teams like the AFC East and the AFC South are actually better than a lot of people thought. Like the Titans are a lot better than people thought. The AFC North, Ravens, you could put there. Ravens are a lot better. And the NFC West, 49ers aren't as good as people thought. NFC North, Packers have 2 losses already. Vikings are 0-3. AFC West looks they look a lot better than people thought. They got 2 undefeated teams. The only team with a losing record there is San Diego, maybe Oakland after tonight. But in terms of overrated, I would say that I think the NFC was a little overrated, but I think more so the AFC was really underrated. People didn't value them as much, and it's shown early in the season how they're 11-3 against NFC team. Everyone, just let me know what your thoughts on kind of which conference is better. Does quarterbacks matter when you kind of determine these things? Yeah, just feel free to comment on this video.